Hello, my dear student. Welcome to a simple English video. Even though this won't be too simple, I'm guessing this will be more pre-intermediate, intermediate level English, probably closer to intermediate. And in this simple English video, I'm going to be answering a question, maybe a question to myself, and maybe rejecting a common opinion that people have of my lifestyle and of traveling. So one thing that I notice when I tell people what I do about my lifestyle, living in different cities, different countries of Latin America, they think that I'm living some sort of dream. And I want to tell you right now that everything isn't perfect in the world of Profe Kyle. Now, when I was a young boy, I always dreamed of traveling. And I think we grew up in a culture where a lot of influencers, a lot of people say that you gotta travel in order to live. And I'm gonna say this right now, I do believe that you can learn a lot about yourself from traveling. I would say that I've matured incredibly as a person because of my experiences traveling. I would not be the person I am today without my experiences in Sweden, in Russia, Ukraine, Colombia, Mexico. I've learned so much from going to these different cultures. At the same time, I don't think traveling constantly is a sustainable lifestyle, and I don't think it's a fun lifestyle. I believe that when you're younger, so let's say between 18 and 28, traveling might seem like the funnest thing to do in the world. You're constantly going to new places, discovering new cultures, meeting new people, and yes, that's very exciting. But you soon realize after a few years of traveling that it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Some of the things that people don't take into consideration when they think about a nomadic lifestyle, a traveling lifestyle, living in different places constantly are, one, you don't stay enough time in one place to really make connections, really make friends, and to really put down roots into a place. And for me as a human being without roots is a lost human being. There's somebody that is easily blown down by the winds because they don't have a support system. And people need a support system in order to get ahead in this world. You need to have good connections with your family. You need to have good connections with your friends. You need to have good social connections or business connections in order to get a better salary. And if you're constantly traveling, it's very difficult to make friends, make connections, and to get ahead in life. Obviously, there are a few people that are exceptions. There are people like Luisito Comunica from Mexico. Obviously, him traveling and doing travel vlogs have helped to make lots of connections. He's obviously very successful because he travels. I also know a few other YouTubers who travel constantly, and obviously they have gained friends and gained connections from traveling. But I would say those are exceptions. If you're not somebody who's going to be recording every moment of your trip, then you're not going to really be making connections. Because nobody's gonna see what you're doing, and you're not staying in a place long enough to meet somebody in a bar or in a street or at a business or at a gym or at karate classes in order to make those roots. And for me personally, I don't want to be recording every moment of a trip because I'm not able to enjoy a place if I constantly have my camera out and I'm constantly looking at it and telling you what I'm doing. Obviously, those guys that I watch, Bald and Bankrupt, Harold Balder, there's a whole bunch of other guys that I've watched their videos. I like their videos, I enjoy watching them. But just having my camera out in the street, constantly constantly recording everything that I do does not sound like a lot of fun. It doesn't really seem like a way to really enjoy a place and get into the culture. So I don't really want to do it. Now, if you want to do it, you can do it. And the other thing too is about safety. For example, I watched a recent video from Bald and Bankrupt, and he was in Bogota, Colombia. And as he usually does, he had his camera out and he's walking around downtown Bogota. And the entire video I was shaking my head thinking, oh, Bald and Bankrupt, you gotta be careful. You're in Bogota. That is one dangerous city. You're gonna get robbed any second now. Now, luckily in the video, it seemed like he didn't get robbed, but even Bald and Bankrupt, he looked nervous. He never looks nervous when he's traveling, but in that moment, he was constantly looking over his shoulder, because I could tell that he could feel the insecurity in downtown Bogota. And yeah, for me, I'm in Latin America. It's not a safe thing to do to have a camera out and be walking around talking to the camera. Maybe I would do it if I had somebody with me, a traveling companion or a group of people with me, but when I'm by myself, that doesn't seem like a good idea. It seems like a good way to get robbed. So those are some of the things that people don't take into consideration when they're looking at somebody like me or looking at these travel vloggers traveling to different places. They don't realize that these people most of the time don't have deep connections to a place, and they're not able to get ahead in life because they're constantly traveling. And for me, I want to have roots. Now, I don't really feel comfortable saying I want to live in this country permanently, but at the same time, I would like to be able to say I can go to this country and live here for 1 year. I don't want to have to worry about a visa. I don't want to have to worry about renting different Airbnbs every month. I don't want to have to worry about learning how to cook because the food is different. I don't want to figure out how to pay because there's inflation, or because the currency is different, or because there's different banking regulations. There's all of these things that make going to new countries both exciting but also a pain in the neck. Yeah, because it is a pain in the neck. I'm gonna be going to Brazil in a few days. I'm gonna have to learn how to take out money. I'm gonna have to learn how to cook. I'm gonna have to learn how to do things in the Brazilian city, which are probably different than in Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Canada, all the other countries that I've been to. And that takes a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month to get used to, and it's a pain in the ass. And yeah, at this point in my life, I'm older, I'm more mature. I would much rather have a place, an apartment, whether I own it or I rent it, and I know that I can go there whenever I want, and I'm not gonna get kicked out of the country because I overstayed my visa. And I know exactly where to get food, where to go to have fun, where to go to see nature, and I'm able to speak the dialect, speak the language of the locals. For me, that seems much better than constantly traveling. So, if you're a person who wants to travel, maybe you're young and you're thinking about traveling to different countries and you've never done it before, I would definitely say travel to different places, but don't do it forever. It's really not that exciting for me personally. Obviously every culture is different and it's always interesting, but there's so many different cultures in the world. Your brain is only so big. There's only so much information you can take in. And if you're constantly traveling, you're really not gonna be able to connect with every culture that you visit, right? So just my advice, and you don't have to take this advice, is try to focus on 2, 3 different cultures that interest you. Obviously, you follow me, so you're learning English. So try to focus on the American, Canadian culture. And then if you want to do some traveling, focus on 2 other cultures, French culture, or Chinese culture, or Japanese culture, and really go deep into those cultures, whether it's learning the language or just enjoying TV shows, movies from that culture, and then travel to that country to see what it's like. And you'll be able to connect a lot more with the culture if you do that than if you're just paying money for a 2-week trip to England to see a few castles. You're not really going to connect deeply with the English culture that way. So that's just my opinion. What do you think? Agree? Disagree? Tell me below in the comments. And if you liked this type of opinion video, you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when I release new videos. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, my dear student.